Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Louboutin Alma BB in the Damn Ya Ben canvas. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's go to work, let's do your laundry, whatever it is that you do, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. Starting with the first question from S. Ramirez. I know this is a tough question to touch on, but we all have to face the moment of truth one day, and since I only have a son, no daughters, my plans for my bags are that he respect my wishes and sell them when my time comes. What future plans do you have for your bags? Oh man, this is an awesome question. All right, so for me, I am still holding on to that sliver of hope that I will have kids of my own to pass down my handbag to, because I would like them to be considered family heirlooms, and that way it can go from generation to generation, especially because even though I've always been appreciative of jewelry and things like that, considering that I've always been such a diehard fan of handbags, to be able to have that and to be able to pass it down, and then the handbags have a story, they have character, they're vintage and things like that, I think that would be amazing. However, if that is not to be, I do have a beautiful niece. Her name is Ava, and she is such a girly girl, so I would definitely love to pass down my collection down to her. And of course, if my brother has kids of his own, I'd like to pass down my collection to his kids as well. And then if they decide to sell it or do whatever they want to do, you know, between them, then that's fine, you know, but I would really like to be able to pass them down. And especially like the forever pieces that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, just to, again, have that story behind the items and to be able to pass them down, and then they can say, oh, my Aunt Minnie got this when she went to Paris, or my Aunt Minnie got this because of blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, I think I'm such a sap, so it's only fitting, right? But that's what I would like. I had thought about possibly selling them, you know, because you can never tell the future. Anything can happen. But as of this moment, right now, I would like it to be passed down, and that way they can enjoy handbags, because, I mean, who doesn't like handbags, right? Of course you guys will understand, because we are all handbag addicts. But this is a phenomenal question, and I would love to know, what future plans do you have for your collections? Again, you can't tell the future. You know, anything can happen, but as of right now, what's the future of where you see your collection going? But that is awesome. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. And of course, if you guys want to share, let us know in the comment section down below. Next question from Debbie LaHaye. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm thinking of adding another pre-love handbag to my collection, but it doesn't come with the authenticity card, dust bag, or box. I know Fashionphile and others have on-site authenticators. I'm just not sure how I feel about not having those items with my bag. I can always get it authenticated on my own, but I still feel like having those things along with the bag. Your thoughts on this? This is an awesome question, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And you said it perfectly, because you can always get it authenticated, and a lot of those authenticators, you know, they can provide an authenticity card. They can provide the paperwork needed if you decided to sell that if you decided to sell that handbag in the future. But I'm kind of like you as well, although for me it doesn't really matter if it doesn't come with the dust bag, if it doesn't come with a box, especially because what we talked about last week, I'm already a pack rat, I'm already a hoarder when it comes to boxes, so I don't need any more. But when it comes to the authenticity card, in specific to Chanel, that's always something that I look for on the pre-loved market. And I really can't pinpoint the reason either. You know, when I first read their question, I sat there and I thought, okay, you know, the dust bag doesn't matter and the box doesn't matter, but why? What is it about the authenticity card that I feel like I have to have? Especially, again, as you said, you can get it authenticated at any point in time, and having an authenticity card doesn't always solidify that an item is authentic, because we all know that a lot of super fakes come with the whole 9 yards. They come with the dust bag, they come with the box, with the authenticity card, the ribbon, the receipts, and all these other things, and they turn out not to be authentic. So that's not the case either, but I've seen a ton of different beautiful handbags on the pre-loved market that I'm like, oh, maybe I should go for, maybe I shouldn't, especially the reissue. I've seen a lot of those on the pre-loved market. As you know, I'm trying to add one to my collection, but most of them, I'd say 99% of them, don't come with an authenticity card, and it drives me crazy too. I don't know why. I'm sure that doesn't help, you know. I don't have a valid reason, but it drives me crazy, you know. And it's funny because I feel that You know, with Louis Vuitton, you don't have authenticity cards. And if I buy a Louis Vuitton on the pre-loved market, if it doesn't come with the SKU card, if it doesn't come with the textile card, if it doesn't come with all of those things, that doesn't bother me. And if this other fashion house also doesn't come with authenticity cards, it doesn't bother me either. But for me in specific, it's always been Chanel. I'm like, no, it has to have the authenticity card. And kind of like what we talked about last week as well, anytime you have, especially on the pre-loved market or when you go to resell an item, if you have the dust bag, the box, the receipt, and all those things that come with the bag, you can always sell the item for a little bit more because I feel that it's a lot more alluring. I feel that that person is going the pre-loved route, but they still have the same, maybe they won't have the same experience as getting it brand new from the boutique, but they'll have just as many items as the person got when they first got the item from the boutique. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I literally sat there for like half an hour thinking, why do I have to have the authenticity card? I have no idea. So like I said, I'm no help. But yeah, so I completely understand. And I feel that if you are going the pre-loved route and if you feel better about having those items come with the item, if you feel better about having those things come with the item, then I say hold out for it because I feel that it will give you maybe that peace of mind that you want. Maybe it'll bring you more joy to have those items instead of necessarily settling for an item that doesn't come with those. You know, like I've said before, to each their own and everyone's going to see it differently. But if that's what makes you happy when you go on the pre-loved market, if it makes your heart sing to have those items, then by all means, wait till those items come with it. But I'm no help. I'm no help because I'm the same way. So I don't know, but this is an awesome question. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well because maybe I'm crazy, maybe Debbie and I are crazy, I don't know. But again, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So hopefully that was able to help your situation a little bit more. All right, next one from Retro L. I am thinking about buying a Chanel wallet on chain in the black caviar leather, but I cannot decide on whether I want it in the gold tone or silver tone hardware. I also heard that the gold hardware might chip. Do you have any problems with chipping gold hardware from Chanel? I also want to hear your thoughts on choosing between gold hardware and silver hardware. Okay, so fabulous questions. Now between gold hardware and silver hardware, I like them both. I personally feel that the gold hardware is maybe a little bit dressier, but it's also very easy to dress up and dress down. Whereas sometimes I feel that the silver hardware is just a tad, like a tiny sliver, a tiny, tiny hair, not as, it's a little bit more casual. That's how I feel. But like I said, either way that you go for, I think it's all personal preference. I think that they're both beautiful, but that's just my opinion when it comes to gold hardware. Okay, so gold hardware, I've also heard that it might chip. Yes, I have seen a lot, especially on the pre-loved market, that have quite a bit of chipping because it is a coating on the hardware itself. Now here I brought out my wallet on chain because this is, I believe this is my oldest Chanel piece that I have, if I'm not mistaken, because I've had it the longest and I've used it to death. And I have not had any chipping whatsoever on the hardware, which has made me very happy. If anything, I just have quite a bit of scratches just because I've used it so often. But I don't have any chipping on the inside of the hardware either. And usually it looks like it's starting to a little bit, it's starting to, the silver or the yellow of the gold hardware is starting to come off just a tad on that button, which is normal because of how you end up closing this item. So I can see a little bit right there. Not too bad. Yeah, I don't see anything else as far as any other chipping. And then I also wanted to bring out this guy, which is the O-Zip coin purse, because I also use it to death. And it looks like I have a little bit of the silver coming through on the little zipper there, and that's just from opening and closing the item, which again is normal wear and tear there. So yes, you will be able to notice the chipping a lot more on the gold hardware just because of that coating versus the silver. At least I feel that way, but yeah, maybe it doesn't have anything on there. I can't tell, to be honest. I think I need a stronger prescription because my contacts, I can't see anything. But yeah, there's no chipping on the zipper, which that's actually where I would expect to see a lot more of the chipping happening. But I don't see anything on there either. So no, so far, no issues, like maybe slight discoloration on the hardware, but I know, again, I've seen a lot on the pre-loved market that have quite a bit of chipping, especially like the antique hardware. That one, or the matte gold hardware, that one tends to show the chipping a little bit more, I think, than the chrome ones or the ones that are a little bit shinier. So that, I mean, like I said, it's all a matter of how you end up using the item, and I feel that it will end up happening over time the more and more that you use it. So that's always something to keep in the back of your mind. But still, even with the wear and tear that it might end up happening, I still always end up gravitating towards gold hardware because I really like, especially the combination with the black and the gold. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Lux Lab Life. If two brands could collaborate and make a new handbag out of their iconic styles, which brands would you pick? What would be your dream handbag from this collaboration? This is an amazing question, and I already know it would be between Louis Vuitton and Chanel, of course, right? It would be between Louis Vuitton and Chanel, and I would want to have a Chanel spin on a Louis Vuitton Speedy. And what I mean by that is, can you imagine the Speedy style, the classic silhouette, but with the quilting that Chanel has? I think that would look amazing. And it doesn't matter what kind of hardware it would be either. If it was gold, if it was silver, if it was the So Black or what have you, I can just imagine how gorgeous it would be. It would probably make for a heavy handbag, but at that point I'd be like, who cares? Two of my all-time favorite handbags collaborating together and making an iconic Speedy, I think would be amazing. But like I said, it would have to be that quilted leather on there. And I think I'd go as far as saying that I would want it to be lambskin leather, not the caviar leather. Even though I like the caviar and it might make it a little bit more carefree, it might make that a little bit more popular, but I think I would like to see it in the lambskin leather. I think it would look amazing, right? I think so. But that would be my collaboration of choice with those two fashion houses and that spin, that Chanel spin on a Louis Vuitton Speedy. Absolutely fabulous. At least in my mind, the way that it looks in my head, I'm just like, oh, you know, it's like the clouds opened up and they parted and there's these people singing. That's how I feel when I think of this bag. Stupid, huh? But great question. Next question from Nisha Remus. In regards to Louis Vuitton, have you ever been quoted a cost for repair and think it was too much? I'm in the market actually for an older version of the Montsouris. Some I find are very reasonably priced. I'm wondering if I send it off for a full Vachetta replacement, I'll end up spending way too much money in total. Thoughts on this, and is it worth it? This is a great question, and any time that I have been quoted for a repair on Louis Vuitton, I've always thought that it was pretty, I always thought it was pretty fair in comparison to what I was getting, down the line. Of course, if you go the pre-loved route for a handbag and you get a great deal, and then let's say that the repair service is just as much as the bag was on the resale on the pre-loved market, at that point, that's kind of where I step back and I'm like, well, if that's the case, then I'd rather go for a brand new, completely different bag on this or that, the other. So it's all a matter of personal preference. But for example, when I was quoted with the Tivoli, I had the Tivoli many years ago. The leather was in great condition and the canvas was in great condition, and I wanted to get the lining redone. And I think it was quoted like $175 if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what it was. So the $175 to tack on to the Tivoli, and the fact that the other two, the other two details, the canvas and the leather, were in great condition, I thought was a pretty good exchange because of how much more wear I'd be able to get out of it in the future. So I thought that was pretty good. And then I was also quoted on the Neverfull MM and the Demi Azur. I've been telling you guys that I wanted to possibly get the leather replaced. And on that one, I think I was quoted either $285 or $300. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it was. And it is kind of steep considering that the Neverfull doesn't have a whole lot of leather to it. But the way that I saw it is that if I spent $300, up to $300 on getting the leather replaced, the canvas is still in great condition, even though it does have color transfer from yours truly. But it's not cracking or anything like that. And I can get a lot more use out of it. I can get another, 10 plus years out of it. I think the exchange is also a great way to go. But like I said at the beginning, if you go for a pre-loved handbag and if the repair service ends up being just as much as the handbag is, it's all a matter of you know, if that pre-loved item is hard to come by, kind of like the backpack that you're looking at, they don't make it anymore. So in that case, if it makes your heart sing, and if you have to spend a little bit more money so that you get the bag that maybe you missed out on years ago, then I think that's a great way to go. But if the bag is still available on the market, and if you go the pre-loved route, and then if you get it replaced, if the replacement, if getting the repair ends up being the same amount as going brand new at the boutique, then that's where I would say maybe hold off and go the brand new route, because then that way you also have the warranty behind it if anything were to happen within that year or what have you. So again, it's all a matter of personal preference, but it's all on, you know, if that item is hard to come by, if that item is discontinued, and if it'll end up being too much to repair to the point where you can just go a brand new route and get that item instead. So I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Lisa Sheely. Hopefully I said that correctly. I really want a Speedy Bandolier 30 in Damien Ben, living in rainy Britain. Do you think this is the best bag to get? I don't currently own any Luxe bags, so this will be my first. This is an awesome question, and I think that the Damien Ben Speedy Bandolier is a great option because the Damien Ben is very carefree. It's also a lightweight handbag, so it's not like you're going to be carrying around a brick or anything like that. And the fact that it's bandolier, it's very versatile. You can use it crossbody. You can use it, you know, hand carry it, or you can put it on your shoulder. So I do like that. Also, another brand to look into is Mulberry. And when we were in London, that's the brand that I saw the most. And I'm still kicking myself for not having gotten a Mulberry when I was there, because they have such amazing leather. And a lot of people rave about how the leather looks over time. And once the leather starts to patina, if you do get rain on it, it won't be as noticeable because you kind of have that patina that kind of tends to protect it a little bit more than fresh leather or anything like that. And also people tend to, they tend to spray it with, I forget the name. I can't remember the name. If I can remember, I'll put it right here so you guys know what I'm talking about. But a lot of people end up spraying their items and then they use it and they haven't had any issues with rain getting onto the leather either. So Mulberry, like I said, I saw it everywhere. And even the people that don't end up protecting the leather, it just, I don't know, I love the way that the leather looks, you know, and I've often thought about adding a Mulberry to my collection just because I'm such a fan of their leather. My goodness, it is gorgeous. And how it ages and it has that worn leather look is just beautiful. So, like I said, the Speedy Bandolier 30 and the Damien Ben would be an awesome bag to go for because of the reasons that I said. Very versatile, lightweight, and carefree. But definitely take a look at Mulberry, and the pricing there is a lot better than here as well. So that would be my advice. And good luck on deciding which one you choose. All right, next question from Ashley Sue. We all know what your favorite bags are. If you had to throw away 3 bags in your current collection because an alien came to your house and forced you to do so, what would those 3 bags be? This is a tough question because I love all my babies. Oh man. I don't know. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna say my Longchamp because I can get one. I can get one later. I'd probably have to go for my Chanel LeBoy bag because of the love-hate relationship that I have. And the third one, oh man, this is tough. I'd probably have to say my toiletry pouch 26 in the Tahitian Damien Azur. I know it's technically a toiletry, but I use it as a clutch. It would be those 3. I know I cheated, but I can't see myself getting rid of any others. No way. That is a tough one. But again, I turn to you guys. I would love to know what 3 bags you would end up getting rid of if you had to. Remember, if I had to, if I had the choice, I'd say none and I'd kick the alien's ass. But that's not the question. But yeah, Those three. Great question. Next question from Jessie Dana. Can you compare your Valentino Rockstud Jellies in Water Rose to a Louis Vuitton Puce and Rose Ballerine? Just wondering how similar these colors are. This is a great question, and here I have my Valentino Rockstud Jellies in the Water Rose, and I brought out the only Rose Ballerine item that I have from Louis Vuitton, and that is the Empreinte Clay. And when you put them side by side, you can definitely see the difference. Having issues. There we go. Side by side, this one's a lot warmer. This one looks like it's a little bit more vibrant than this one. This one's definitely on the cooler side. This one almost looks like they're nude, but then when I go outside, it has, it looks very, very light. Maybe it looks a little bit lighter than the way that you guys see it on camera, because since these are light colors, it tends to get very dark because of the lighting that I have. So that also doesn't help out. But still, I feel that you can really get a feel for how bright the difference is between the two. So hopefully that was able to help. All right, next question from Caroline Kim. Do you think that the Celine robot will stay around for a long time? I know it's been around for some time now, but will it enter never full, speedy, double flap status? Do you think any of the newer bags ever enter this status? This is an awesome question, and as far as the robot goes, here is the Nano. Absolutely love this bag. And all right, so do I think it'll stay around for a long time? I think so, especially because it's already been around since 2010. I believe that's when Phoebe Philo ended up introducing it, and it has done incredibly well. I think in the beginning it was a trendy bag, it was the it bag, and as time has gone on, I consider it to be a classic for the fashion house, considering that that particular house has had other designs come up within that time, and they haven't been anywhere near as successful as the Nanos or the luggage tote line in general. So I think this is a classic to that house. And do I think if any of these newer bags make it into that status? I think so. I think that it's also a very tough road to be able to tackle, because they kind of have to get past the whole it bag, the trendy bag, in order for it to go into a classic. And I think that's where a lot of fashion houses have the most difficulty, because they introduce these bags and they're fantastic and they're great for, a year or two, and then after that it kind of dies down. But being able to consistently kind of stay in that limelight or stay in that status and go past that trendy stage and go into classic, I think that's when you can be considered, you can have that type of status that the Speedy has, that the classic flap has, because as I said before, a lot of these fashion houses introduce beautiful handbags, but they just don't end up standing the test of time when push comes to shove. But I really do feel that the luggage tote line has done incredibly well, a lot better than they had anticipated, and a lot of people, like I said, it was trendy, and then people were just like, that's not, I felt like it kind of died down a little bit, and then it just kind of it picked up again, within the last couple of years, and now it's that classic status. And I know when I think of Celine, I think of the luggage tote line, whether it's the Nano, the Micro, the Mini, or the Phantom. Kind of like when you think of Louis Vuitton, you think of the Speedy, you think of the Neverfull, and like you said, with Chanel, you think of classics. And I think that every fashion house has that staple, has that classic handbag that is associated to it, and those are the classic pieces for them. So I definitely feel that way about the luggage tote line. Like I said, it's been around since 2010, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon. I think they're great, and they might have a lot of seasonal colors and a lot of seasonal pieces come out. But in general, the silhouette that it has, I don't know, our beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I know for me, I am madly in love with in particular, the Nano. But yep, I think it is definitely a classic, but everyone will see it differently. But fabulous question. All right, last question from Nell R. I was able to order 2 luggage tags from a sales associate at Louis Vuitton. Congratulations. I definitely want to get them hot stamped. I've never had anything hot stamped before. How does the wear and tear look on the hot stamp? Great question. I did bring out 3 different examples. Now, when it comes to hot stamps, usually the gold foil and the colored hot stamp, those tend to wear the quickest, just because they are known to peel. They are known to kind of not necessarily stay in the best condition over longer periods of time. I know that's what they've always told me. Anytime I've gotten them hot stamped, they always say, you know, just so you know, the luggage tag might end up peeling, it might end up doing this, it might end up doing that. So that's something that I always keep in the back of my mind. So here is the gold foil on this large luggage tag. I have had this since I had my classic Speedy 35 in the Damier Ebene canvas. That was like 100 years ago, I feel like. But you can really see that it started to kind of, it almost looks like it has a little bit of pitting going on the gold foil. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it or not, but there it is on the side. And then when it comes to the colored hot stamp, this one, oh, maybe this wasn't the best one to bring out, but this one doesn't have any peeling or anything like that. But I really like it on the Vachetta ones because once this patinas, you can really see that color and it tends to stand out. But like I said, these tend to wear the quickest over time, over longer periods of time. If you want something that you don't have to worry about any type of wear or it peeling or anything like that, I always suggest a blind hot stamp, which is what I have here. There's no color. They just ended up hot stamping it right there. You can see the M. And I really like that because like I said, you don't have to worry. You still have that beautiful hot stamp. And this one will wear very nicely over time. This one is a little bit different just because it is the epi, so it's not as deep as you would see it on the Vachetta one. So that's just something that I wanted to bring up to your attention. So either one that you go for, but personally I've always gravitated towards the gold foil. I love the way that it looks, especially on the Vachetta ones, because again, I feel that it really ends up popping as the Vachetta starts to oxidize, but even with the colors. So I know I'm probably no help, but that's my preference. It's always been to go for those two, regardless of how it might wear in the future. But if you don't want to worry about anything like that, then I definitely recommend going for the blind hot stamp. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to help. You had some amazing questions this week. Now for this week's lineup, I've been getting a lot of questions as far as resale value goes on certain items. So I have a video on that for you guys later this week. And as far as the third one, I am not sure, but you will definitely see me a few more times. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And I will see you guys later this week. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day.